Passing on past memories. As Jews living in the world today, it can be difficult to preserve our sense of identity and religious standards. Jews, especially those who are Orthodox, already have so many outside influences threatening the past on the Jewish traditions and ways of life. This is clearly shown from the skyrocketing rates of intermarriage and assimilation among 58% of Jews in America. Soon, without the physical presence of Holocaust survivors, Jews as well as the entire world are at an even higher risk of forgetting their pasts that are vital tools in order to preserve our identity. The past of survivors are once crucially essential to not just the history of the Jews, but the history of the world and human behavior. This is because the Holocaust is a prime example of human reaction and condition. As this is the case, we must ask ourselves an essential question. As Jews, what is our universe of obligation to the memory of those who suffered in the Holocaust? What are our responsibilities to ourselves, our community, to other Jews, and towards the rest of the world?
To schools, synagogues, whatever they need me, because this is my duty and obligation. This is part of my life. So I go, and my family, they're afraid that I might get a heart attack, that something happened. I said, listen, it happened, but I have to do it. Because, you see, my wife, she cannot talk. Not because of her condition now, but even before she could not talk, because she started crying right away. And a lot of other people there, they survive and they're afraid to talk. They cannot talk, but I have to.
And why do you feel you have to?
In memory of my family, they were murdered, and the 6 million Jews, they were murdered. And if I don't talk, might go forgotten. So maybe this will help.
There are thousands of experiences and stories that the survivors of the Holocaust have to share with us, and whether they are seemingly important or not, they all have relevance in answering our question. To many, a story in which a young Jewish baby was hidden through the war may not seem to answer the question as to what our obligation is in educating the greater world about the Holocaust. However, to many, this answers the question perfectly in saying we must repay those who helped Jews survive through the Holocaust. This same perspective is seen from the testimony of Judith Shamir.
But I think it's important to remember it when we see things happening around us. You know, while one person and you see a persecution, you see discrimination. You know, Jews were, what happened to us is because we were different. That's it. No other reason. Stand up, speak up. You may think that one person cannot make a difference.
This very perspective on carrying on the memory of those in the Holocaust can be seen from one of the most famous survivors of all time. Elie Wiesel once stated that, "To forget the Holocaust is to kill a second time."
Another answer that many feel is our universe of obligation is applying the messages gained by the survivors of the Holocaust to help benefit the world. Some of the benefits survivors feel we have to gain is in achieving a greater tolerance of different ethnicities of people as well as minorities.
There is this thing, well, you know, what is happening in Africa doesn't affect me because I don't live in Africa. Or if it's happening in Somalia, or if it's happening wherever, well, you know, I'm not there, I'm here. Why should I be concerned? Well, now it's there, and if people don't stand up and try and help and change, it may end up here. So, not to be a bystander and not to feel that, well, what can I do? Yes, each person is important and has a role to play.
With most of the survivors, there is a common theme, and that is that the education of the Holocaust cannot just involve Jews, rather the messages the survivors want to teach must be learned by the entire world. Through the interviews of survivors, we have learned that there are many answers to this question we posed. The remembrance of the Holocaust in its entirety is finding our universe of obligation. Another answer is the spreading of survivor testimony and experience to others, whether Jewish or not.
But I feel now, in our time, what's going on in the world with anti-Semitism, that the children do need to somehow continue with sending a message to the world that it should never happen again, and that we won't let it happen again, because we are strong, we have an Israel, and we are not the orphans like we were lived in Europe, and nobody really loved us. Now we have a voice, and I think that the children and grandchildren need to continue their voice to make sure that Israel is there for us.